Welcome, friend. Take a deep breath and quiet your heart. This isn't just another video. It's a reminder that your current situation is not the final chapter of your story. Maybe you're starting with almost nothing. Maybe your salary disappears before the month ends. Maybe you look around and wonder how other people seem to be moving forward while you're still trying to survive. But listen carefully. You don't need to start with wealth to build wealth. You need to start with a decision. And today, we're going to talk about how to build wealth from nothing. Not through overnight success, not through gambling, not through pretending to be rich, but through small decisions that, when repeated long enough, can completely change your life. Imagine a young man sitting in his small apartment at the end of the month. His salary has arrived. TID disappeared. Rent, food, transportation, bills, family responsibilities, a few unexpected expenses, and suddenly his account is almost empty again. He looks at his bank balance and thinks, how am I ever going to become wealthy? Maybe you've been there. Maybe you are there right now. And the first thing I want you to understand is this. Being broke is a financial condition. It does not have to become your identity. You may have little money today, but you can still have valuable skills. You can still have time. You can still learn. You can still work. You can still create. You can still make better decisions, and those things can become the foundation of wealth. Don't despise your beginning. Your starting point is not your destination. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they need a huge amount of money before they can start building wealth. They say, when I get a better job, I'll start saving. When I earn more, I'll invest. When I have enough capital, I'll start a business. When things get better, I'll become disciplined. But here's the problem. There will always be a reason to wait. And while you're waiting for the perfect opportunity, time is moving. The person who starts with $20 and learns how to manage it may eventually handle $2,000 wisely. The person who starts with a small skill may eventually turn that skill into a business. The person who starts saving a little may eventually develop the discipline to invest consistently. You don't need a perfect beginning. You need a beginning. If you have no money, don't start by asking, where can I get money? Start by asking, what can I become valuable at? Because money follows value. Learn to design. Learn to write. Learn to edit videos. Learn sales. Learn coding. Learn photography. Learn communication. Learn digital marketing. Learn a trade. Learn something people are willing to pay for. You may not have capital, but you can build capacity. And capacity can eventually create income. Think about it. A person who knows how to solve a valuable problem will always have an opportunity to make money. So if you're starting from nothing, invest in yourself first. Your skills can become your first asset. Imagine someone who works a regular job, nothing glamorous. Every month, they receive a modest salary. They decide to do something different. Instead of spending every extra dollar trying to look successful, they begin learning a skill after work. 1 hour every evening. At first, nobody pays them. Then someone asks for their help. They earn a small amount. They continue. Another person hires them. Then another. Eventually, the small side income becomes meaningful, and something important has happened. They didn't suddenly become rich. They increased their ability to create income. That's how wealth often begins. Quietly, slowly, without applaudverts. Here's a truth many people don't want to hear. You cannot build wealth if every increase in income becomes an increase in lifestyle. Imagine someone earning $2,000 a month. They spend $2,000. Then they get a raise to $3,000. Suddenly, their lifestyle expands to $3,000. A better apartment, more expensive clothes, more restaurants, more subscriptions, more unnecessary purchases. Then they earn $4,000. And somehow, they still have nothing. The problem isn't always income. Sometimes, it's lifestyle inflation. Wealth is not about how much money enters your account. It's about how much of that money you keep, grow, and put to work. This is one of the most important lessons. Looking wealthy and being wealthy are two completely different things. Someone can drive an expensive car and be drowning in debt. Someone can wear designer clothes and have no savings. Someone can post luxury vacations online while struggling financially behind the scenes. Don't compete with appearances. Build what people cannot see. Build savings. Build skills. Build investments. Build businesses. Build relationships. Build character. Build knowledge. Build discipline. Because real wealth doesn't always look impressive in the beginning. Sometimes, wealth looks like saying no when everybody else is saying yes. Before you start chasing impressive investments, learn how to protect yourself from financial emergencies. Imagine you've finally saved $1,000. Then your car breaks down, or an unexpected bill arrives. Without savings, you may have to borrow. Debt creates pressure. Pressure can force you into bad financial decisions. That's why an emergency fund matters. Start small. Your first goal might be $100, then $500, then 1 month's essential expenses. Eventually, work towards several months of necessary expenses. Don't worry about how small the beginning looks. A small financial cushion can give you something incredibly valuable: breathing room. If all your income comes from one source, your financial life can become extremely fragile. That doesn't mean you need 5 businesses tomorrow. Start with one additional stream, maybe freelancing, maybe consulting, maybe selling a skill, maybe a small business, maybe digital products, maybe content creation, maybe a service people need. The goal isn't to become exhausted trying to do everything. The goal is to gradually build income-producing assets and skills outside your main paycheck. Because eventually, you want your money to stop depending entirely on the number of hours you personally work. Here's a simple question to ask before spending money. Is this helping me build wealth, or is it simply helping me consume? A book that teaches you a valuable skill can become an asset. A course that genuinely improves your ability can become an asset. A productive business tool can become an asset. An investment that grows over time can become an asset. But constantly buying things simply to impress people doesn't build wealth. Now, this doesn't mean you should never enjoy your money. Enjoying life matters. The lesson is balance. Don't spend everything today and expect tomorrow to be financially secure. Once you have your basic financial foundation, learn about investing. And please, don't let social media convince you that investing means getting rich overnight. Real wealth is often boring. Consistent investing, long-term thinking, patience, compounding, learning, avoiding unnecessary risk. The person who invests consistently for decades may eventually outperform the person constantly searching for the next get-rich-quick opportunity. Don't chase every trend. Don't invest in something simply because someone online says, "This will make you rich." Understand what you're putting your money into. Protect your capital. Learn before you risk. Think long-term. Imagine planting a tree. You don't plant it today and expect to sit underneath a giant tree tomorrow. You water it, you protect it, you wait. At first, the growth looks insignificant. Then years pass, and suddenly, something that started small has become enormous. Money can work in a similar way through compounding. Your early results may look disappointing, but consistency gives your money time to grow. That's why starting early matters. And if you feel like you've already wasted time, don't spend another year regretting the years you lost. Start now. If you're serious about building wealth, learn what destroys it. Constant unnecessary debt, impulse spending, addiction, trying to impress people, financial ignorance, poor relationships, get-rich-quick schemes, living beyond your means, and refusing to learn. Sometimes building wealth isn't about making more money. Sometimes it's about stopping the leaks. You can pour water into a bucket all day, but if the bucket has holes, you'll still end up empty. Fix the holes, then increase the water. Your environment matters. If everyone around you constantly says, "Spend it all," life is short, you deserve it. Don't worry about tomorrow. You may eventually start thinking that way too. But imagine being surrounded by people who talk about ideas, skills, businesses, investments, personal growth, discipline, faith, purpose. Your conversations influence your thinking, and your thinking influences your decisions. You don't have to abandon everyone who thinks differently, but you should be intentional about who gets significant influence over your life. And if your wealth journey is built without God, you may gain money and still lose yourself. Money is useful, but money is not your identity. It is not your purpose. It is not your God. The Bible says in Deuteronomy 8:18 that it is God who gives the ability to produce wealth. So pray, work, learn, plan, be disciplined, be generous, and remain humble. Ask God for wisdom, not merely money, because wisdom can teach you how to handle the money when it comes. Don't just pray for increase, pray for the character to manage increase. Think about the person you want to become 5 or 10 years from now. That person will not suddenly appear one morning. You are building that person today. Every time you save instead of waste, you're building. Every time you learn instead of complain, you're building. Every time you invest instead of consume everything, you're building. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve your future, you're building. Every time you wake up and work toward your purpose, you're building. Your future is being constructed by your present decisions, but there's something even more important than financial wealth: your health, your family, your peace, your character, your relationship with God, your integrity. Because what is the point of becoming financially wealthy if you lose your health? What is the point of having money if you have no peace? What is the point of building an empire if you destroy everyone you love along the way? Build money, but also build a life worth living. Maybe you're watching this with $10 in your account. Maybe you're unemployed. Maybe you're drowning in bills. Maybe you're starting again after making terrible financial decisions. Don't be ashamed of your starting point. You don't need to have everything figured out today. You need to make your next wise decision. Save something, learn something, create something, sell something, invest in yourself, reduce unnecessary expenses, pay down destructive debt, find ways to increase your income, and repeat. Because the road to wealth is rarely one giant leap. It's thousands of small steps in the same direction. So if you're starting from nothing, don't focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you can control. You can control what you learn. You can control what you spend. You can control what you save. You can control what you do with your time. You can control the skills you develop. You can control the people you listen to. You can control whether you keep giving up or whether you keep going. Your first goal doesn't have to be becoming a millionaire. Your first goal can simply be becoming financially stronger than you were yesterday, then stronger next month, stronger next year, and eventually, the small decisions begin to compound. The skills become valuable, the savings become investments, the investments begin producing returns, the side income becomes a business. The business becomes an asset, and one day you may look back and realize that the life you prayed for was built from the tiny decisions you almost thought didn't matter. You don't build wealth by wishing for a different life, you build it by becoming a different person, a person who thinks long-term, a person who can delay gratification, a person who learns, a person who works, a person who saves, a person who invests wisely, a person who gives, a person who trusts God, and most importantly, a person who refuses to give up. Start small, start imperfectly, start today, because you may not have much right now, but you have enough to take the next step. And sometimes, that's where every great story begins. Remember this: you don't need to start rich to become wealthy. You need patience when the results are small. Discipline when nobody is watching. Wisdom when opportunities come. And faith when the journey feels slow. Don't despise your small beginning. Your first savings account may be small. Your first investment may be small. Your first business may be small. Your first customer may be one person. Your first profit may be tiny. But don't underestimate small beginnings. A seed doesn't look like a forest, yet if you plant it, nurture it, and give it time, it can become something far greater than what you first imagined. So start with what you have, learn what you don't know, build what you can, and trust God with the journey. Until we meet again, may God give you wisdom to manage what is in your hands, discipline to prepare for what is coming, courage to pursue your purpose, and favor to multiply the work of your hands. Keep learning, keep building, keep believing, and never forget, your current situation is not the end of your story. God bless you.